some water. Take a breath and drink some water. Take your breath and drink some water. Take your breath. Drink, 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 drink. Or should I say, breathe, breathe, then drink. Now, grab your glass for some water. Get your container of that water. Lift that pitcher of that water. Simply pour some water. Drink, 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 drink. Or should I say, raise, pour, then drink. Now move your body and drink some water. Out. Move your body, drink some water. Move your body, drink some water. Family, move your body. Drink, 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 drink. Or should I say, move, move, then drink. My wrist hurt. Now, raise your glass and toast your ancestors. Raise your glass and toast your ancestors. Raise your glass and toast your ancestors, fam. Just raise your glass. Drink, 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 drink. Or should I say, raise, toast, then drink. Take your breath and drink some water. Lift and pour yourself some water. Move your body, drink some water. Raise your glass and toast your ancestors. Breathe, lift, move, toast. But to stay healthy, family, remember. Breathe, drink, eat, move. Drink half your weight in ounces. Eat a culturally appropriate diet. But hey, take a breath. Lift and pour. Move your body. Toast your ancestors. Drink up. Drink your water. Take your breath. Lift and pour. Move your body. Toast your ancestors. Drink up. Family, family, family. Great Kuumba to each and every last one of you. And we want to give a round of applause to all of the Kuumba babies out there. We appreciate you. We love you. We support you. All right. Yep. You can hear the babies in the background. It's real life here at Gye-Nyame Journey. So I want to welcome you to this Kuumba's Toast and Talk. It is time for Toast and Talk. What's up, Sasha Mom?
Can I take a bath first?
Huh?
Can I take a bath?
Can you take a bath first?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go and take a bath. Oh, man. I thought I changed the title. Brother Mark was supposed to come on today, but he had to cancel because he having some issues. And I thought I changed the title. Oh, shit. All right, but Brother Mark Stevenson won't be joining us today. He will be coming on a later show. But we want to send out some energy to him anyway. Oh, man, the way he's supposed to go like that. Good grief. All right, so let me, and it's kind of too late to change it now, unless I shut down Facebook and do it again. But I went in there and, well, you know, nowadays, I don't know what is what, because I'm looking on, I don't know what is what, so I changed it on the Spreaker. Obviously, I didn't change it on the, but I think I did change it on the, but hey, who am I? Who am I? I'm just a wanderer in the world and shit, and just amazed, literally amazed at some of the shit that be happening around me, right? So, but the goal today was to go on and introduce you to the Columbus ADOS chapter, at least from what, for at least my audience, to the ADOS audience, and Mark is the most qualified to do that at this point in time, but right now, brother is not able to do it. So we want to send him a round of applause, because we will be hooking up soon. Had an excellent conversation with the young man earlier this week about some of the organizational things that he was doing, and some of the issues, because y'all know about this whole ADOS / FBA thing and stuff like that. I kind of spoke on it a little bit, and none of this shit is new. Family, I just we have to understand it. None of this shit is new. So those of us that honestly think that we're going through something new, family, I want you to just study your history. There's a program called the COINTEL program that you can look up. You know what I'm saying? You can look up what happened with Marcus Garvey. You can look at what I mean, this shit is not new, right? Now, I will say the newest element in this is that many of us have been so well programmed that many of us will act in an agent capacity and not even know we're acting in an agent capacity. Just please understand that. So, all this talk about agents. Now, a motherfucker don't have to be an agent. You know what I'm saying? You don't know. All the corporation got to do is offer a motherfucker a bag. Just, let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. So, and you won't even know that you're working against your people's interests or even care. So, you know, all this agent talk, you know, they don't need agents right now. You know, they could say they're saving a lot of money from the black struggle now because they don't need agents anymore. Because we just telling ourselves anyway. Goddamn, turn on the internet and do like I'm doing right now. Get up here and talk. You know what I'm saying? So it's all cool. And like I said, this shit will blow over in 7 to 14 days. Brother Tariq will continue doing what he's doing. ADOS will continue what they're doing. And all this is doing is giving an opportunity for the weak to fall off. Really, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? But I think we do need to deal with some of the illusions out there. Family, the truth of the matter is this. On both sides, let's be clear. The truth of the matter is, well, let me ask this. How do you organize something without some form of leadership? Throwing that out there. You know what I'm saying? So many people, regardless of whether they say they're in a leaderless organization, there's, you know, I call it, you know, some people call it game. You know, I'm just telling you what it is. So please miss me with the bullshit about this whole leaderless shit, right? And another piece that, like, for example, in Gye-Nyame Journey, let me find my book. I got to find my book. Hold on. If I got a copy of my book. I know I'm supposed to have a copy of my own damn book, but I'm trifling like that sometimes. I don't have a copy of my own damn book. In the Player's Pyramid. So, nope, that's not the book. That might be the book. Yep. All right. In the Player's Pyramid, this is a book about building your personal pyramid, which is basically a symbolic idea. You know what I'm saying? The pyramid could be anything that you want to build, a family, a business, a tribe, whatever. You know, and you use the principles as the building blocks. But to use these principles as building blocks is some tools that you got to have. And I talk about these tools, and I want to read one of the tools to you. So the last tool is have a mentor. Have a mentor or hero. Y'all hear my daughters up there fighting. Have a mentor or hero. The last tool that we will need is the ability to humble ourselves and get a mentor or a hero that we can aspire to be like. I know this can be damaging to some of our egos, but understanding that is good. We need to understand that there is always someone that may have done something similar to what we plan to accomplish. All we have to do is reach out to these people for advice, and they can help us avoid some of the pitfalls. These mentors or heroes can be alive or dead. If they are alive, we can reach out to them and ask them for advice, and even in some cases work with them for a while. In this case, the first thing that we must always remember, and listen to this, is that they are human. We must never put someone so high on a pedestal that when they fall, they die. We must keep in mind that human beings cannot live up to the visions that we have of them, so let us expect their shortcomings along with their achievements. If your hero or mentor is dead, so that then I go into the hero or mentor is dead. You can find them in the library, blah, blah, blah. But the point that I'm saying is, sometimes we do ourselves a disservice because we take individuals and we place them up so high that when something happens and they fall, in our eyes, they are shattered, they die, they are destroyed. And we have to be very clear about this whole business that we are in. We still fucking with human beings. We're still dealing with people with human frailties. So shit is gonna happen regardless. You know what I'm saying? I done been disappointed so many goddamn times, but I keep on doing what I'm doing because I'm not doing what I'm doing for them. I'm doing it for us. I'm doing it for we. Right? So I got to keep on going regardless of the frustration. And many people are now just being exposed to some of these frustrations. And I'm like, wow, I can dig it. You young. You young in this. I understand. You're going to get many more disappointments. Many more people revealing parts of themselves that you did not know existed. So embrace their achievements. You know what I'm saying? And also learn from their pitfall. Learn from their mistakes. Learn from the negative shit that they do and grow. Right? So I'm going to move on from there. If people want to call in with some other stuff, they can. If not, we'll make it a short show. Because I'm not going to hold y'all up and go into my personal stances on some of this shit unless some of y'all want to call in and pull that shit up out of me. Because I do have some personal gripes. Ain't even personal. Because I don't know none of the people that are involved in this whole FBA ADOS thing. I know the people that I deal with, right? And I understand I understand from a distance what's going on, at least, and I understand from my perspective, and it's only my perspective. And like I said, I would prefer that you would take the time to get your own perspective on it if you have some skin in the game. If you have skin in the game, I would love to hear you. Right? But if you a spectator sitting on the sidelines, shut the fuck up. Cheer. Just stay up in the stands and cheer because that's what a lot of motherfuckers do. Y'all spectators, then all of a sudden, y'all want to jump in and do, you know what I'm saying? And family, there is no leaderless organizations. I'm just going to say that. There's something in organization as leaders. Some of y'all could be like, it's the code. But then once again, I go back and I ask the question, what is the fucking code? See, because if you don't define it, that means that any slick motherfucker can get up and change the code when they feel like it. What is the code? Where is it written? You know what I'm saying? Where's it written? You know what I'm saying? I mean, is there, the nation is clear on their codes. There's, you know what I'm saying? There's do's and there's don'ts. And you violate those, and there's a consequence for that shit. But right now, a lot of y'all talking about I'm in a leaderless organization and I basically do what the fuck I want to do, and if I feel like it, I do it. If I don't feel like it, I don't do it. That is not how you win. One of the things I learned as a young fella out here in these streets, you know what I'm saying? I learned in football. The first lessons. And it was supported throughout my life.
This call is being recorded.
Part of manhood is doing shit that is uncomfortable. Part of adulthood is doing shit that you don't necessarily want to do. So for us to all of a sudden get to a point in time to talk about, let me just say this. What we're working towards, reparations, liberation, whatever you want to call it, this shit is uncomfortable. And it's going to make people around us uncomfortable. And sometimes we're going to have to get up, we're going to have to do shit that we don't want to do. When you are involved with something that claims to be a movement and you could do whatever the fuck you want to do when you want to do it, that's not real. That's some shit where you're like, all right, hey, go ahead. Uh-oh. Is this Sister Kim from Wazadugu? What's up?
Yeah.
Well, I will let you go on and go on. Go ahead. They got you back in Berkeley, California.
Oh, it says Berkeley. Okay, that's because I'm calling on my Skype. No, about the FBAADOS beef. It has turned into a beef between Tariq Nasheed and Yvette Carnell and Anthony Moore. This is my take on it. First of all, when I saw that Tariq Nasheed was having an FBA conference, immediately I began to think about his pettiness. He is super petty. And I've seen him, be very petty with Umar Johnson, Boyce Watkins, Roland Martin, and different YouTubers, random YouTubers. He has, grilled them, literally grilled them. So, and he's very commercial minded. Yes. He's a movie maker. He has a sense of money. He has a nose for money. And so he's very commercial minded. If you notice, every time he does a big project, he makes a movie, he always does a fundraiser.
Always.
He always gets the community involved.
Right.
As opposed to putting all his money. He never puts all the risk on himself.
Never.
He does that. And never. And once he does the movie, he if you listen to him, he'll talk about his investments. So he'll start going to travel. Like after he did 1804, he went and started talking about properties he was buying in Atlanta. And so he does a lot of that. He likes to take his money and flip it. He also likes to take his money and do other projects like the Mink Slide, the music and things like that. And he did a lot of that from the money he made from the movie. He takes it very fast and flips it into something else and to make. So he has a nose for money, and I'm not criticizing him whatsoever. And I listen to him, and I listen to the things that he says, and I take it for what it is. I'm not a follower of anyone. I listen to them all. But I know he has a nose for money. He also understands the establishment in a different way than Antonio and Yvette understands the establishment. He kind of understands the dark side of America, in my opinion, more than Antonio and Yvette. He has done a lot dealing with, white supremacists. He's done a lot of research on them. He's done a lot of things with the dark side of stuff. So he understands the dark side of that. He claims to understand the street. I don't know how well he does. He claims to understand that. So he tries to understand the dark side of the establishment of American society a little bit more than I would say Antonio and Yvette claim to understand. So when I saw that conference, I saw somebody using it from a commercial standpoint, trying to see, how can I make money from this? Because Yvette, in their conference they did, ADOS conference wasn't very commercial.
Right.
So he saw that and said, they missed out on so many opportunities to make money. This is how you do this and make money.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I see him do. I'm not saying negative or positive, but that's what I saw him doing.
He's American.
And I saw a little bit of his, yes, he is. And I saw a little bit of his pettiness, too, with the FBA, because I don't know if you remember, at one point, and he talked about certain dates. I don't remember the dates, but at one point he was using ADOS.
Right.
He had started using ADOS, and then some of his some of his Afrocentric people got to him, and then he changed it to go to that FBA, and he's been doing that ever since. He won't acknowledge that somebody talked to him, but in one of his videos, he did talk about somebody talking to him. And then he switched to this FBA, and so that's what he's been using.
Right.
And so when he made that switch, that started, in my opinion, started this problem. And we were going to get here one day anyway.
I agree.
And then he saw them, they did that conference. They didn't make no money out of that conference. He was like, you can make money out of this. I know how to do that. Yes, he does know how to do it. And that's what he's going about doing. But at the same time, what in my opinion, what Tariq Nasheed does not understand, he really doesn't understand the grassroots efforts, people who think like that really, because he's so focused on money. He's missing something. And his pettiness is going to trip him up this time. I believe his pettiness is going to trip him up this time, because this is not the time to be petty. And the people who are doing this grassroots-wise aren't the people who are even going to be entertained by this, and they don't want to be bothered with it. So I believe Tariq is making a mistake by not acknowledging defeat and moving on. That's my opinion. I know he won't do it because he's a very proud person, and that's not his MO. That's not how he rolls. But at some point, I think he's probably going to pivot and go in a different direction. I don't think he's going to stick with this, because I believe he does not. These are the kind of black people who are doing this. We're like granola of white people. And we're not going to change. We're not going to give up. We're very grassroots. And he just needs to acknowledge and let it go and move on. I think at some point, Tariq will pivot. And he won't accept defeat. Pivot. That's my opinion.
I don't think. I think he's gonna push forward with it. I think he's gonna push forward with the conference, and I wish him. I mean, like I said, do your thing. You know what I'm saying? I just want. It's just hard for me to kind of accept some of the fuckery and some of the hustle and not say something. You know what I'm saying? Because people are like, yeah, stuff like this need to be handled behind doors, but you can't. Everybody don't know everybody. You know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't chilling. You know what I'm saying? Just because individuals are on a similar platform, it doesn't mean that everybody knows everybody. Shit, and it's like, my whole issue, not even with the whole conference, it's just with the whole. All right, it's so much shit. Let me just put it this way, and I'm waiting for Mark to come on so that we can kind of have a conversation. The family can ask questions because there's so much shit that's happening in the last week, as far as ADOS, FBA, because it's almost as if ADOS hashtag ADOS. See, and what's crazy is ADOS is not even a group. It's a hashtag. You have two individuals that came out and they, in a sense, marketed this hashtag or talked about this hashtag and put it out there. People latched onto it because it made sense. It had the data behind it, and you got groups in different cities. So now they're trying to say that it's this organization. When you got two people that's been educating and you got people up under them that's making stuff happen in the cities that they are in. That this whole group is a xenophobic LG. They claim is a MAGA supporting or Donald Trump supporting LGBTQ. Hold on. LGBTQ, Donald Trump supporting, xenophobic group that is controlled by the Democratic Party. All this shit.
Yeah, I'm hearing that.
All this shit clashes. It's like, what in the, who's making this shit up? Right? And then you got individuals now, it's a whole new beef now where there's talk of some the hashtag being stolen. See, anyone using descendants of slaves, I could challenge and say, you stole that shit from Alana Karenga. You know what I'm saying? I can say, you say, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, these terms are out here. Hell, in the book that Yvette just had everybody read, the Martin Luther King book, Where Do We Go From Here? He describes us as descendants of slaves. Yeah. Right? So, so is anybody going to say that they took it from that? Then Malana Karenga got the United Slaves group. That was what us stood for and shit like that. Come on now. So people, it's just getting so petty and getting so stupid. But the piece that people don't understand is that this is how shit happens. See, because all you got to do is take some time and look in history, family, because I want you to understand this. A lot of you motherfuckers out there, excuse my language, a lot of you motherfuckers out there are Cliff Note historians. And y'all need to stop that shit. I appreciate what Tariq did for y'all, and I know that's why y'all with him, you know what I'm saying? Because he makes it so easy for you. You know what I'm saying? But we have individuals who are not Cliff Note gangsters or Cliff Note historians. We got people that actually did the research. For example, a lot of y'all will talk about the Black Panther Party like that was the only black power movement going at that time. You know why? Because you don't study, because you don't know. There was a whole bunch of shit going on at the same time that the Black Panther Party was going on. But you wouldn't know that. Right? It was a whole bunch of movements. We've been doing shit for a long time, and these motherfuckers have been hitting us with the same strategy. And now they don't even have to put a plant inside of us. They don't put this bag mentality inside of us, and it makes it so easy for us just to jump off into some bullshit. So somebody else joined us on the line. Oh, wait.
Hi, Tim.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna say one more thing. I agree with everything you say. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm going to add something to it. Okay, you're right about Tariq people, but you can say the same thing about the ADOS people.
I agree.
I'll be honest.
And I'm not just talking to Tariq folks. Because, go ahead.
Antonio is not petty. He's genuine. He's not petty. But Yvette Carnell is petty. And she's vindictive. You know, she blocked me on her Facebook page just because I raised a legitimate concern. She blocked me.
And there's talk about Tone doing the same thing. I mean, they're human beings. This is why I started off the show with my discussion about putting people on pedestals. We shouldn't put them up so high that when they fall, they die. You know what I'm saying?
Hello? Don't pedestals.
But somebody called in. I'm sorry, they hung up. Oh, but we have another caller from 614. Who is this calling in?
Hey, this is Mark.
Man, Mark, you supposed to be taking care of yourself, man. We can have our discussion another time. You sure?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm done with my IV treatment.
Hey, listen, this is Soldier calling in. This is Mark. See, because I tried to take it off, but I guess I already launched it. But this was my brother was supposed to be a guest. Mark, this is a sister on the line from Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso. She calls in, and she was the one that sent us the tickets so that when I told you I had all those extra tickets for the ADOS conference, she sent us some tickets.
Yes.
So, Brother Mark, go ahead, Brother Mark. You got something you want to jump in on, or you just want me to interview you, man? How you want to do this?
No. I heard the sister say that Yvette is vindictive and Tone is kind of whatever. That can be true, right? Because being somebody that is a ADOS actual activist that's on the ground, I got blocked by them too, because I challenged a certain ideology that I didn't agree with. But through all that, I didn't let the fact that they blocked me stop me from doing the work on the ground. Because as far as I'm concerned, ADOS is bigger than the actual movement, the hashtag, the movement behind the hashtag, not the lineage. The movement behind the hashtag is bigger than two people.
Thank you.
So I kept doing the work. That's how I met Brother High-Tim. I kept doing the work because this work needs to be done.
Right.
So I think where most people look at what Tariq Nasheed did this week with all the drama, Yvette and Antonio going back and forth with him, people breaking up, trying to define FBA versus ADOS, they've gotten away from the true cause of the movement. It's a black agenda and reparations. So some people weren't invested in that. Some people are looking at trying to make it a come up or trying to secure some more money for their own endeavors.
Right.
And black folks we gotta start recognizing when we're being hustled and when people are being genuine.
That's right.
And I don't think the people who follow. Go ahead. What did you say, Hakim?
No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah. I think people got to realize when they're being hustled or when people are being genuine. Yvette and Antonio are being genuine in their fight for reparations because those tickets for the ADOS conference went for $15. They weren't trying to make money off people. They could have had that conference and sold those tickets for $100, and if they really were trying to secure a bag. What Tariq did was he saw the hustle, that he can make money grifting off black folks again. And we support Tariq. People have crowdfunded for his videos, but everything for him has been for profit. I don't think it was so much that he saw the ADOS conference, but he saw what Revolt was doing and how much money they had made with Revolt TV's conference. That he decided, hey, I got to get a piece of this pie because my hidden color films are pretty much over with. I got to find a new hustle.
That makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
And he's a hustler. And you know what I'm saying?
All talking about that conference. You're right.
So, he's a hustler. And I'm like I said, I just like to be clear on the hustle, especially when it comes to hustling this. You know what I'm saying? Because as they said in the Malcolm X movie, brother, God's word is not a hustle. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and then on top of that, what people have to understand, once again, because I want to stress this, Brother Mark says that the movement is bigger than the individuals. This is what we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? So now, the national beef, because I feel I had to chime in on it because I'm hearing a whole bunch of stuff that's just, it's just not lining up with me. You understand what I'm saying? And it makes me uncomfortable. And I know because one of the things I've been screaming is skin in the game. So whenever I see somebody crowdfunding and then turn around and sell shit back to the people, that's not skin in the game. It's not really even your investment. You're taking the people's investment. And if people are cool with that, I can't have no argument about that. If that's what we do, that's what we do. But when it comes to this, and we're talking about reparations, and just because you're mad, the court case is bullshit, reparations is basically bullshit, we got to mix it up and we got to do all this. And listen, I understand pimp talk. That might blow up that tablet. And it won't fit anyway. The cord should be in the back. Excuse me, it's real life Gye-Nyame Journey.
No, you're right. You're right. That's true. And I like what Mark was saying. So I just think people need to keep in mind mainly the personalities that we have up front. And Tariq is a personality that you gotta see it for what it is. See him for who he is and look at his pattern and what he does. To me, what Tariq does very well is call out BS with the white supremacists. Now, when it comes to that, I listen to him because he really knows what he's talking about, in my opinion, when it comes to that area. When it comes to organizing and social stuff and community stuff, sometimes he knows what he's talking about, but sometimes not. Quite frankly, he really doesn't have a post for that. In my opinion, Yvette Carnell falls out with too many people at different times. She's very volatile. Now she's fine with Antonio Moore. They're BFF. How long will that last?
But that's
she's falling out with so many people.
But that's people though. You know what I'm saying? I mean, a lot of people are cantankerous. I agree with you. You know, and you asked a good question, but I mean they've been cool this long. So, I mean, it's cool. And she falls out. But like I said, once again, we can't put them up so high that when they fall, you know what I'm saying, there's no curve. Same thing with Tariq. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, even with all their stuff, we got to be able to look at them and always refer back to their humans, right? And be able to continue to work. I agree. Now, Mark, because one of the pieces I wanted to bring Mark on is because Mark is out here in these streets doing the work in Columbus. So with all this going on nationally, what are some of the things that you think that some of the local organizations, because like I said, ADOS is bigger than individuals. It's bigger than those two individuals. So what do you think other ADOS type organizations or ADOS organizations or tribes, because what do you think they should be focusing on in their cities right now?
I tell you that they should be focusing on their local elections. They should be focusing on meeting with politicians, pushing policy for a black agenda. They should stay above the fray. I mean, I talked to the other chapter leaders the other night about this. Like, we cannot keep getting caught up in petty online Twitter beef because it derails progress. And I harken back to something that me and you talked about. We talked about the stubborn minority when we were traveling down to the ADOS conference.
Right.
And that is true. We have to be that stubborn minority. We cannot allow ourselves to be getting caught up in pettiness on a day-to-day basis, because that's what the whole white supremacy structure is based on. It's all based on deflection and distraction, destruction, and so if we stay above it and say, okay, Tariq is gonna do what he gonna do. He gonna be the petty monster, right? He gonna be petty. He gonna try to dig up whatever he can dig up, just like this whole thing about us stealing the ADOS for the DOAS, whatever. He wasn't concerned about that when he was hashtagging ADOS, right? He wasn't concerned about any of this. And I for one, look at it as if...
Stop. Wait. Well, now, so for those that don't know, the word is that hashtag ADOS was taken from a group that's been around for, I think, about 15 years called DOAS.
Yeah.
and the DOAS founder walked into a random ADOS meeting in California. Now, mind you, that this dude is in Kentucky. He got a small organization in Kentucky. He walks into a meeting in an ADOS meeting in LA. See, family, for me, I don't understand why Bells is not. Hold on, let me turn on my fuckery alarm. Hold on, fuckery alarm. Where you at? No, that's the fuckery alarm. The brother walks into an ADOS meeting in California. His organization is based in Kentucky. How the fuck did he get out there? It is not like this is a big money organization. How did he get out there, family? Come on now. I'm just saying, I'm just speculating. I'm asking questions. We thinking people here. Reason is what separates us from the animals. Please reason this out. But I'm sorry, Mark. Go and continue on with because that shit is hilarious to me. But please, family, catch the hustle. It is.
And when you and I discussed it the other day, it was hilarious then, like it's hilarious now. Like we have to look at this, and we have to know that people are going to try to attach themselves. Nobody was checking for ADOS besides like Talib Kweli and his minions calling us a white wing think tank that was getting money from a white nationalist org to discredit black politicians, right? Nobody cared about that. Nobody cared. It was we were Russian bots. We were paid whatever. Everybody was coming at us from that angle, but nobody could deny the data, right?
Right.
Now, the only thing that has changed, right? We had a successful conference. You and myself were down there. We saw the love that was coming in. The people were just like, it was like a big family reunion. We come out of the conference. The only thing that changes with what we're doing is the New York Times article comes out and solidifies ADOS as a real movement. All of a sudden now we got people coming out of the woodworks. Yeah, I was talking about reparations back in 1980. Like, okay, where the hell have you been? Like, some of these folks that are talking this stuff, I have never heard of them before, ever. And I'm like, okay, this dude, he supposedly ran as a descendant of slaves in a party, and he's from Kentucky. Okay, but what have you been doing? Like you can't come out of the woodwork just because you had an idea and it didn't go anywhere, and all of a sudden you see a new group take on the mantle of fighting for reparations for their tribe and say, oh, they stole my idea.
Right.
Like, no, it doesn't work like that, because if you were really doing the work, why did you wait until we got national recognition before you show up?
There you go.
Because he's in Louisville, Kentucky. So I'm like, Dr. Kevin Kaji is in Louisville.
Right.
Like, so why, him, he's been talking about ADOS because he does it all the time on his page. He's had you at his church. You got an award from his church. So instead of you being an elder in the fight, you know what I'm saying? Like, instead of being an elder that's in the fight and passing down wisdom and knowledge to us so we can go out here and go do this, you'd rather come out and say, we stole your idea. That's the problem that I guess my generation has with the generations before us.
Hey man, don't be dogging my generation, man.
Transfer.
Don't be dogging my generation, man. Leave us alone.
Hey, listen.
We just want to die comfortably, man.
You have poured a lot into me. You know what I'm saying? You keep me balanced. I'm talking about, we don't have a lot of people like you doing that, though. You know what I'm saying? You were out there doing this fight by yourself. So you had nobody to pour into. Now you have people to pour into. It makes it all better. But I'm talking about these guys who just coming out of the woodworks. Like you said, how you showing up in Los Angeles?
In Los Angeles.
Of all places.
And we know the poverty rate in Kentucky. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? You got enough money to show up at a random ADOS meeting when the goddamn conference was right in your home city? What? Now hold on.
He didn't show up at all.
Didn't show. Well, we can't say that because we don't know, because he could have been there. We don't know. You understand what I'm saying? Now, unless he said that, we don't know whether he was there or not. But the point is, when you start getting shit like this, and now, like I said, this is the whole pettiness piece, and this is where it drops into Facebook, YouTube, Twitter beef, and shit like that, and national peace, and it's entertaining. You know what I'm saying? But I'm so glad that there are people like yourself that are still doing the work. Because while this shit was going on, my man and the ADOS crew in Columbus was down at the early voter registration place getting the work in. You understand what I'm saying? There's meetings being set up now, and he could talk about that if you want to talk about that now. But also, I got some other questions that I want to ask him because, family, listen, this whole ADOS thing, once again, it's bigger than all this shit. It's bigger than, because like I said, and even those brothers and sisters out there that's FBA, please don't, I want y'all to understand what I'm saying. I want you to be deeper than a cliff note, whether you ADOS or whether you FBA. There is research that you need to do if you want to get involved with this beat. Please understand what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Please understand what's going on. Because the same exact thing that's happening now is what, in a sense, happened to the Black Panther Party. For those of you that are in Columbus, it's the same thing that happened to the Afro sect. It's the same thing. It's the same divisions that started popping up between some of the Nation of Islam members within their groups, as well as between other groups. See, I was born right after that, and I was able to sit at the feet of some of the elders that went through this shit. So not only have I had to read about it, I had to hear about it, and I had to have individuals hand me their goddamn this is my FBI file after I was able to get it. And I had to just wonder how this elder was able to deal with all these people around him whose name was blacked out that he knew had betrayed him. Family, please understand. This is a lot bigger than a lot of y'all think. Y'all, it's fun to watch up here. But what I'm saying is, what we're watching a splintering of something that is so small that now is going to be easier for it to be extinguished if they do want to extinguish it. And we're going to allow the pettiness Go ahead.
I just want to say that, yes, you're right, that could happen, but at the same time, I believe that at this point in time, FBA, ADOS, if you talk to them, find out they basically believe the same thing. They have the same beliefs. I believe so, because I don't see any difference in their beliefs. So I think the splintering is almost like splintering in name only. Right now, these organizations haven't even really gotten off the ground yet. They're just being formed. So I think if there's a splintering now, I'd rather have it now than later when you have established organizations and more resources put into it. So that for me, I'm still more optimistic, and I don't see this as changing a whole lot, because the people we talking about, Tariq is Tariq. He was going to do this no matter what.
Exactly.
Because this is how he functions. He's, this is him. Yvette saying, you don't know what direction she's going to go because she's volatile. Okay?
Well, she already spoke. She already spoke on which direction she'll go. So it's cool. But like I said, those on the local level going to keep on building.
But I mean, thinking in terms of her and Antonio. Like, to be honest, even her and Antonio, now they're really tight now, but she was tight with Irami before. And then her and she was with Boyce Watkins, and her and Irami went and started a show. And then I used to watch her and Irami. She was very rude to Irami on that show. And there was something that happened behind the scenes, and then he started doing his own show. She didn't have a show for a while, and then Antonio helped her to get her show back.
You know, now I want to say this: Army was at the conference.
I know he was. He said he went. He was going, and he said, "I'm going." They never said what happened.
Right.
He never said what happened. She never said what happened. But I know if you watch those shows when Yvette and Irony were together, she would talk to him in a very demeaning way. She did that several times in the show. And they did that show in his house, in his basement. Because he lives in Georgia also.
Right.
And then when he decided to do his own show, she didn't have the show for a while. And then Antonio helped her to get her show back up and running. And that's when she got her show back up and running. So all I'm saying is this is a pattern. I'm talking about looking at a pattern. Yvette has a pattern of falling out with people. Everybody she's worked with, she has fallen out with them.
So.
And if you're a premature person like Irony, you don't let that bother you. You move on and you see the bigger picture. And that's what he did. He's not petty. Also, Antonio is not petty. He understands the bigger picture. But I'm saying those two, Yvette and Tariq, are super petty.
Now, we are going on assumptions because there's some shit that you can hear. We got other people calling in, but hold on. We got somebody else calling in. But Brother Marcus, listen, Brother Marcus laying up in the hospital, and he came in. This is bugging me out. He called in anyway because he saw the conversation going down. He said, listen, so now, Mark, what are some of the things that are going on for ADOS in Columbus specifically that you would like the community to know about so that those that are interested can still come out and support?
Yeah, okay, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we are having another meetup. We meet every month. Usually it's the fourth Sunday. Now, this month, because of Thanksgiving and people traveling, we're meeting this Sunday coming up. I probably won't be there, but there will be a meetup tomorrow at Macedonia Baptist Church. That's 492 Oakwood Avenue. People don't realize, and to the sister who said that Yvette is like falling out with everybody, understand that the local chapters, right, we are above the fray, okay? The work is still getting done behind the scenes. And on the local level, the chapters are autonomous to Yvette and Antonio, meaning that we are complete separate entities. They run a YouTube channel, they put data out, we take the data, compile it into our local chapters, and we go and do work for our local community.
That's fine.
After our meetup on December 10th, Tim and myself are going to be sitting on a panel talking about the state of Black America, because the work has to be done. So we're going to be educating people about, reforms and getting involved, understanding your voting rights, because there's a lot of political education that has to be done in the Black community. Because I think a lot of times we look for the now and we don't understand the whole social structure behind anything. We don't understand that there's an enemy that's bigger than what we see on the face, and we have to break down those barriers. So we're going to be given basically a political education class on knowing your rights, knowing this stuff. Because if not, what I've seen, and I'll say this, when the FBI came out with their list and said that the Russians were influencing the election, right? I came out and I said, I don't think the Black folks are that stupid or can be manipulated by online stuff to discredit candidates, right? I was like, nah, we smarter than that. But I have to say, after this week, seeing what Tariq Nasheed has been able to do, I am less confident than I was back in 2016 when FBI came out with it than I am now. Because this information has a way of having people split up. And like you said, FBA and ADOS have the same idea. It is the exact same thing. I don't understand how someone can say this. You cannot be foundational black. You cannot be foundational black American if you're not a descendant of slaves. And you can't be foundational black Americans if you're not black first. So I don't understand why people want to put themselves in different designations when we're fighting for the exact same thing. If reparations and a black agenda is what you want, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what's going on. But when people are trying to destroy a movement, then that means that they were never down with it in the first place. They're looking at it from a financial gain perspective, right, and they don't care about black people. It's a business. Because there's a lot of work to be done. If Tariq Nasheed wanted to have his FBA conference and he wanted to do it for the culture and do all this other stuff, that's fine. Because his culture stuff has nothing to do with policy. And that's what we're on. We're on data and policy. We have to change that. And so people, I don't understand how people can come into the movement who can put ADOS as a hashtag on their pages and not know that ADOS was doing politics. Because from day one, this has always been a political movement. It has always been a social and political movement. It has always been about fighting for a black agenda. Now, how can you fight for a black agenda if you're not doing politics?
Well, now
that's the part that I don't understand.
How could you?
So, on the local level, we are doing the black agenda. With ADOS Columbus, we have our own website. We have our own mission statement.
What's the website?
Exactly what we're fighting for in Columbus.
Say the website.
And anybody can go look at it. They can go check out ADOSColumbus.org. Check out our mission statement and see what we're doing, because it's important that we put it in that context so people can understand that I'm not worried about Tariq Nasheed and Yvette and Antonio getting into it. I'm not worried about that. Like I told you earlier, I was blocked by both of them. Both of them had me blocked on Twitter. But that didn't stop me from doing the work. That didn't stop me from going to Louisville with Hatem. That didn't stop any of that, because the work has to be done. And I think the calling, I guess I'd say the mission is bigger than two individuals. You know what I'm saying? It's bigger than two individuals. It's bigger than me. It's actually bigger than me. So I have to do what's right for my tribe here in Columbus and stay above what's going on nationally with a Twitter beef. You know what I'm saying? To me, that's a distraction. And I let them handle that. I'm not getting caught up in that, because I don't know enough, you know what I'm saying, about what's going on. And I can only assume based on what I see. But I think that it could have been handled differently. Excuse me. Because but I also think that Tariq saw it as a money grab. You know, because he started, you know, on his IG, he said, I was the one that got ADOS popping. So he wants credit for something that he didn't start. To me, that's grifting. You know, he was the one that got it popping. I got people looking at ADOS. Well, if you brought all these people to ADOS, then how did these people not know that we were political?
Well, now, hold on. That goes into that Cliff Note thing. See, because how could you be ADOS and never go to ADOS 101 and look at the whole agenda? And like you said, not know that it's political. But we got the Black Yoda on the line. Black Yoda, what's going on?
Nothing. I'm just, excuse me, I'm just listening in, and I know Mark's sentiments reflect my own. And all I can say is, brother, keep pushing, and keep being about the business you're about. Because the truth is if we're putting our energy into the things we need to be putting our energy, the truth of the matter becomes we're too damn tired to listen to bullshit.
That's a good one, Todd. That was a good one. Kwame, that was a good one. Man, if we putting, you say that again? If we're putting our energy, say it again?
If we're putting all our energies into the things we need to be putting them into, then we're too damn tired to listen to bullshit.
You make me feel bad. I'm not gonna big up that. I like the saga, the drama. See, and now let me say this from
no, you understand your role. You know what I'm saying?
I try to.
There's different roles that we play. You are a high energy brother. And so you have the kind of energy that can take on all that kind of stuff. I listened to Mark, brother calling in from the hospital. Brother,
oh boy,
I can understand your position, Brother Mark, because there was a time when I tutored from the hospital. And so it shows the dedication to what one is about. And the truth of the matter is that, Brother Mark,
yes,
you don't. The question is rhetorical. You can answer it if you want to, but what put you in the hospital, bro?
man, let me tell you, I don't know what put me here. I guess because the weather is changing. Like I got the flu and strep throat. You know what I'm saying? So I am actually quarantined in this hospital because I'm the first confirmed case in Columbus. I'm the first confirmed case in Columbus this flu season. But I can say that over the last 3 weeks, I've been outside every single day, knocking on doors, canvassing the area, trying to get black folks to go vote for certain candidates so we can shift the politics in Columbus. I was out in the rain, so I'm pretty sure the elements got a hold of me and maybe the ancestors was like, okay, brother, you need to sit your ass down some, and get some rest because you've been going hard. So we're going to put you down for a little bit. So you can. Well, I'm sitting here with an IV right now. You know what I'm saying? The IV in my arm. IV dripping my arm right now. So.
Wow.
So
I hope you get well soon.
Oh, yeah, we're going to pour these libations. You're going to be cool.
But we just heard what Brother Mark said. Now, all the stuff he's been doing over these last number of weeks, and look where he's at now. Does this brother really have time to listen to bullshit? And
No.
to actually to try to internalize that mess? Hell no. And that's the mindset I'm of. I listen to a lot of stuff lately, and I'm just not happy. I ain't got time for it. And I know I don't have the energy for it like Brother Hatem. So, I'm drinking my ambrosia.
Uh-oh.
That's a little quick marketing, right?
Yeah. Ambrosia, that cool, refreshing drink. Go ahead. That drink of immortality. We want to get Mark some.
But no.
Hatem.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, put my order in.
I got you. I'm going to get the honey today. Sister Kim, go ahead. You call me.
No, I just wanted to tell Mark something. Cause Mark, I live in Africa, but before I moved to Africa, I was in the United States, and I actually got that H1N1 virus, and I ended up being on quarantine. I was in quarantine for like a week. Hello?
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I'm quarantined now.
Yeah, I was quarantined for a week, and then after that, I went to a sister who's a holistic doctor because I was like, I keep getting sick, and then I got that, and it was just ridiculous. So I went to a holistic doctor, and she put me on this diet to build my immune system up. She put me on a diet where I could only eat vegetables for 6 weeks. No fruit, no sugar, only water and vegetables. No carbs, no meat for 6 weeks. And to build up my immune system. And I had gotten so sick from that H1N1, I did it. And it built up my immune system so good that I didn't get anything like a common cold, no sniffles, no nothing for at least 3 years after that.
That's good. That's that. Hey,
So,
I'm probably gonna have to find something too. Cause I don't like feeling like this.
Brother Mark.
yeah.
Wait
so I
till
was just saying, if
the
you
hospital.
can do it. But it was really difficult. But I was in such a horrible state. I did it, and it really made a difference. No sugar at all. Only vegetables. The only sugar you get is from eating raw vegetables, and that's what I did. You could eat cooked vegetables, but that's all I did was eat vegetables for 6 weeks and water.
Mark a Southern boy, he got quiet. He
Thank you for that.
he a Southern dude. He like no sugar. He got quiet, but hey,
exactly. Like no sugar, like shit.
well, no meat.
Like, that means something. Like, oh god.
You can do the soup. You can do the soup now.
No apples, no wine,
Now the reason
beer, no alcohol because alcohol becomes a sugar.
Right.
No ambrosia.
Wow.
Water and vegetables.
How you gonna go all the way from Africa and kill it? Oh, God. But seriously, sugars feed a lot of these viruses, a lot of these diseases that we get. So what she was doing was she was getting Sister Kim to clean out all the sugars. Now, if you're not a person that don't get sick a lot, and this is like a rarity for you, you can look into the African heritage diet and add more vegetables to your diet and change some of your regimens. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Talk about the fermented foods.
Oh man, the fermented foods, man. Oh my God.
As far as most of us we do the sauerkraut thing. But there are other fermented vegetables that we can have. But, hell, if you ain't all into that, then sauerkraut is one of the easiest ones.
And you can make that yourself.
The one that's most.
And in most cases,
anyway,
if you get the sauerkraut from the store, the stuff that you need in it is not there. So it's easier to kind of just make some of that stuff yourself. Fermented carrots, fermented tomatoes, fermented cabbage,
yep.
which is you can ferment them about any vegetable, and what that does, it breaks it down, and makes it easier for your body to digest. So also it becomes a little bit more nutrient dense for you. You know what I'm saying? But this is not the health show. This is the ADOS show. But actually, it is ADOS because one of the things that's attacking our community is the whole health piece. You understand? Mark, going back to Columbus ADOS. So now, is there a number or something that now people? I do have the website up on the site. I'm going to go back and make sure that it's on all of the stations, so that if you want to click it to get more information about ADOS Columbus, I would suggest it. What type of help would you need from the family out there that might be listening? What type of help would ADOS Columbus need? Because family, I want y'all to understand, we got several tribes in Columbus that are working on taking over Columbus within the next 20 years, maybe even sooner than that. And family, a lot of y'all might be like, that's impossible. But family, this whole stubborn minority thing has changed my mind about a lot of things. Because I want y'all to understand this. The whole Republican Party was co-opted by a group called the Tea Party, who was nothing but 2 to 3% of the Republicans. And now those same individuals that did that are now running a lot of the stuff that you see right now. It's always a stubborn minority. And we got that with us right now. You know what I'm saying? So if we start putting those tactics in place, we can start putting people in office and putting people in positions to really do some things and set an example around this country. So, Brother Mark, what type of help do you need from the family out here?
Well, I honestly, right now, I would say to the family, we got to get mobilized and active on the ground. Meaning, we have to show up in situations where we normally don't show up at. Next week, they're having a town hall at East High School on the 21st at 6 p.m. That town hall is for the 2 finalists for the Columbus City Police Department. It's a time for them to sit down and take questions from the community. Now the white dude that's running, that's up for the job. He's already on this. He's the interim police chief right now, Quinlan. His name is Quinlan. The other day he was showing up his support because he showed up at an NAACP event. Now the other guy that's running, he's a black guy, ADOS guy. He's out of Seattle, Washington. He's coming down because he's a finalist. But his idea about the police department runs counter narrative to what's going on in Columbus right now, because he's about holding policemen accountable. So we gotta get in that space to see what's going on, because, you know, part of a black agenda is making sure that our young black boys are not being systematically targeted through racial based stop and frisk tactics, because we already know that we hypersensitive to police officers anyway. So we gotta watch our young brothers as they're engaging with the police, because they can find themselves getting caught up or either being killed, and there's no accountability to the police department. So I know if God's willing, and I ain't in the hospital on the 21st, I'll be out there back doing what I'm doing, because I think that's important. So if people can show up to that event, we have to make the local politics important to us. We just can't be, as black folks, we can't just be focused on the national stuff, because that stuff don't really, I mean, it affects us some, but it's not our day-to-day life that's getting affected by it. It's the policies that are happening on the local level that are affecting us. So we got to get more engaged in the local politics, because to me, politics is local. If we take over Columbus politics, then we take over the state politics. We take over the state politics, then we take over the national politics. But we got to start at home first. And we just can't be blindly going to the polls voting for people just because they say they're a Democrat. Like we can't continue to do that, because we may quite possibly be voting against our own interests and don't even realize it.
Now, one of the pieces I wanted to cover with you. One of the pieces I wanted to cover with you, and also I want to ask, because you said I want to explore a little bit about politics being local and how having some type of control in your city can benefit you, because I want to break this down so that in this conversation, and I know that you could do that, but also there is a question about voting down ballot, because at the ADOS conference, we were instructed that if we don't, like for example, on the national election, if there is no politician or Democratic politician that is going to talk about the black agenda and take reparations seriously, we are to vote down ballot. Now, there is a beef about the whole down ballot question right now. Can you explain what the down ballot means, and also what does it mean for us in Columbus? All right, can you run with that?
Yeah, I can. So the whole idea behind the down ballot is to basically abstain from the presidential election. Like, don't vote in it unless the candidate comes out with the black agenda. So we will pay attention to everything that's local, meaning your city council, your school boards, your judges. We will vote in those things, because those things are supposed to matter. But if you do not see a candidate, and this is where political education comes in at. If you don't see a candidate that aligns with things that you believe in and their agenda, then in that block where they are at, you write in ADOS. And the reason why it's important to write in ADOS is because we want the vote to be counted. We want them to tally, because we know if this so happens that Trump gets reelected, every national media outlet the next day or that night are going to be having their analytics on national television saying this is what the exit poll said. We had white women in the suburbs. They voted at 53% for Trump, whatever. You know what I'm saying? They're going to have every single data point that they can come up with to try to figure out who did not show up to the polls or who didn't vote in that election. We want, as ADOS, we want them to feel it. We want them to say, well, people wrote in ADOS. Why do people just write in ADOS and then vote? And now that's the political power that we have. We take it back from the establishment. Because right now, you know, if we allow ourselves to continue to be a rubber stamp for the Democratic Party, we have no leverage. So we have to shift the narrative to give our leverage, to attain leverage with them. And that's how you push them to the agenda that we want. Because if they can't come to the black church, if they can't come to the NAACP, if they can't come to the Urban League and show up support like they used to, then they have to now engage the voters and find out what the voters want. And that's going to require them to actually do their damn job.
So now let me ask this. Because part of the issue, Tone came out and said we're gonna vote down ballot Democrat. What's the issue with that?
Yes.
Be clear on that. So because family, I want y'all to listen to this answer because this is why I roll with this dude. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So when Tone came out with that statement, we're gonna vote Democrat down ballot, I actually challenged him right on it, and I said I don't agree with it. And the reason why I don't agree with it is this: if I tell everybody to go vote for Democrats, then what leverage do I really have? Because they already know that I'm coming to vote. Sitting in a room with a politician saying, "Hey, we want you to do this X, Y, and Z," and then turn around and say, "Well, you know, I'm gonna vote for you anyway." That politician is not inclined to want to do anything because they know they already got you in the bag.
Right, they got you locked in.
Regardless on what Tone feels, they got you locked in, right? So his idea behind it was that 90% of black folks already vote for Democrats, so we're just gonna demand stuff from them. I don't agree with that. I think that, in my opinion, and this is where I think the down ballot is supposed to be, you know, write-ins or whatever, is the reason why I don't agree with his take on that. And I'll say I told him I didn't agree with it. I actually had a conversation with him when I told him I didn't agree with it, and that's not what I'm gonna be pushing here in Columbus because you have no leverage with that. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, independent, libertarian, whatever you want to call yourself. Are you going to do the work for black people? So if the Democrats don't have the ability to come to us without providing tangibles anymore, now we have leverage on them. And we can use that leverage to our advantage because I think that our vote should be going to the highest bidder. And that's not meaning like people putting money in our pockets. What I mean is we should be, we black folks, we should be our own political, in a sense, be our own political party. We should not be affiliated with the Republicans or the Democrats. We should be focused on black first, black issues, and be issue-focused voters. And whoever is going to give us what we want, that's who we vote for. And if neither party wants to do that, we don't vote for either of them. Because we have to make our vote, we have to weaponize our vote. And I don't think that when Tone said that, it basically took away the power of the vote, really. Because you're basically telling Democrats, hey, you really don't have to do anything for us. Right. We're gonna vote for you anyway. Right. But here's what we want y'all to do. Like it's kind of like a contradiction in a sense.
Right. It weakens.
Can't demand something. Right.
Because it's sort of like being in a bad relationship, talking about I'm gonna leave you for a day rather than you know what I'm saying. I'm gonna leave you, but they know you're gonna come back. You know, so what you're saying is opening up the field so that we can, like I said, because politics is about what you could get for your community. See, and family. This is why I keep on telling us we got to get out of this. We're not the Jesus of humanity. We do not have to sacrifice our interests all the time. And then on top of that, this is why in the toast I sing heavy to y'all that this moment is not ours. So it's not yours to give away. We cannot be giving up any more ground because we got children that are coming up. And if we look at the numbers, it's not looking good for us. So we need to be able to hold on to our votes. We need to be able to get out here to our cousins and our cousins' friends and letting them know, listen, you need to register. I don't need nothing else from you and shit, but you need to get your ass out here and vote. You know what I'm saying?
If I heard correctly, it sounds almost like what was being proposed was limiting one's ability to negotiate. Because if you restrict me to only talking to one person as such, rather than two, with whom, I can talk to each individually and negotiate, then that's limiting what the hell I can accomplish.
There you go. There you go.
Exactly.
Yep.
And to piggyback on what you just said, the reason why I don't agree with it is because in Indianapolis, right, we have an ADOS in Indianapolis, right? Those brothers over there, their brothers and sisters been doing the work, right? They have a Democratic mayor candidate and a Republican mayor candidate. Guess who got the black agenda?
The Republican.
Just take a wild guess.
The Republican. I ain't got no guess.
The Republican mayor has a full-fledged black agenda in his actual agenda, like on his website, a full-fledged black agenda that specifically, here's the thing now, what's crazy, he changed the language because ADOS went to him and was like, this ain't gonna work for us. If you want to have a black agenda, it needs to say descendants of slaves. His people went in and changed the language so it could target those people, and it has every single tangible from ADOS 101 in the agenda. So how can you sit up there and tell those people over in Indianapolis when there's a Republican mayor saying, "Hey, I'm going to increase the access to SBA loans for black folks to about 15%. I'm going to ensure that y'all have the ability to get home loans and housing assistance through different programs that the city has. I'm gonna make sure that your police department reflects the population." These are the things that is in his agenda. So how can you sit up there and tell them that they got to go vote for the Democratic mayor where he ain't got a black agenda at all? See what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's why I don't agree with the vote for Democrat no matter what stuff. Because I don't. And here's my thing. And I'm not a Republican, so I'm gonna put that out there right now. I'm an independent. So I swing both ways. If we have never engaged the Republican Party to see what we can get from them, how do we know that they're not on board with what we want? And because the chances are, if we negotiate, then that gives us more leverage. Because now they'll see, oh shoot. Because the one thing that pissed me off with the Congressional Black Caucus, right, when Trump got first elected, they decided that they declined to meet with him to negotiate on behalf of black people.
That was stupid.
That is what pissed me off.
That was stupid.
As soon as he got elected, they declined to meet with him. So you telling me already that you're not even looking out for my best interest if you're not trying to work with the president, regardless of political affiliation. Like, you're not even trying to work for the people that put you in office. You're partisan. So you're not willing to do the work. So for me, you need to go. Because we didn't put you in Washington, D.C. to be some partisan hack. We put you in Washington, D.C. to fight for black folks. What?
Welcome back, Sister Kill.
Did somebody say something?
That was Sister Kill. She yelled right. Her line goes in and out because she called in from Africa. So she's not crazy. She just trying
Okay.
Hello? Go ahead.
But so that's what I think. I think that people got to realize that, and black folks got to realize that. Like, if you keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result, that's the definition of insanity. So, at what point are we gonna come off stop being insane and realize that we need to be negotiating? We should be for our tribe and our tribe only. We don't have no permanent friends. We have no permanent enemies. we have are permanent interests, and that's what we need to be fighting for. Don't align with a party. Fight. Go out here and negotiate and find out who is best for what we want. If the Republicans give it to us, good on them. If the Democrats give it to us, good on them too. But if we don't even engage the political process on both sides, then I think that we're selling ourselves short. And we'll be right here 10 years from now. It'll be 9 years from now. It'll be 2028, and we'll still be sitting around like, what are we doing?
What are we doing?
You know, because the truth be told, black folks, we no better off since LBJ signed the Civil Rights Act. We're no better off in anything statistically as far as education, financial prosperity, infant mortality, anything. We're actually below everything that they were back in 1964 to 1968. We got to understand that.
Not if you listen to some of the people, because I was listening to a radio show the other day where this sister was going off because Andrew Yang was talking about by 2053, most black people not have wealth. She said, well, 74% of us are not in poverty. Fam, let me understand. Please understand. This is why you got to understand the talking points. And this is why you got to study. Because when they calculate poverty, they're not including wealth. So you have a bunch of people that are above poverty, but have absolutely no cushion to fall on if everything goes wrong.
Exactly.
People don't understand.
No, bro, not if everything goes wrong. If one or two, let's say
that's true. You're right.
House, you get a major mess with your house or a major car issue.
So
that's enough to send you below poverty.
Below poverty. See, and this is what we don't get. They playing word games with us, and we got to stop. And what Brother Mark is saying is we are in a game, and we need to go on and start realizing what side we on. We're not Republicans. We can't afford to be lifelong Republicans and lifelong Democrats. Because please understand, when black folks came into politics in America, please understand we came in astute. We were Republicans first. Why? Because Republicans delivered tangibles to us, as people want to say right now. And then we became Democrats. Why? Because the Democrats delivered tangibles. But then all of a sudden, we done fell into a sleep where we think that we was always. No! We have always looked out for our interests until this brainwashing that we have went through for the last 60 years or so. I don't know what the hell happened. But something I got a long theory, but it'll take longer than I got to go, and I'm sharing the mic today. But we got an in-depth analysis of what happened, but something happened where we started thinking that we were supposed to align with party rather than tribe, rather than family. No, Democrats don't give a fuck about you. Republicans don't give a fuck about you. They want to use you for what you are able to give them at that time, and then they'll cast you to the side. And what we're saying is ADOS or FBA or Conscious Black or whatever, we're saying that day is done. We will give you nothing if you give us nothing. I'm sorry, Mark, but sis want to say something. Go ahead, Kim. Because her line goes in and out. So when she get a chance to talk, I try to let her go. But her line is... Gina?
Yes?
Oh, my God. I thought this was Kim. Gina... Gina, you got something you want to say? Since you got something you want to say? Okay, cool. Gina just listening in, so we're going to give Gina G a round of applause for listening in on an adult political conversation, which our children should be doing. All right, Brother Mark. It's back on you. I mean to break you in, man. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. Yeah, I just think that what you said is right. Like, we should be somewhere down the road. We got confused on what we were doing here. I mean, and I go back and I studied the Reconstruction era and those years where black folks were electing black politicians to the House and the Senate, and they were fighting for their issues and stuff like that. And then I look at what Martin Luther King was able to do with LBJ and all that stuff. And people don't realize that LBJ was a racist. Yeah. And somehow or another, black folks got a tangible out of a racist, and then they aligned themselves with the Democratic Party. Now we're stuck. Like, we've been in this matrix for the last, 50 years, or just this matrix of we're not gonna ask for anything. We're just gonna sit here and hope they do something.
Lord, please let them do something for us, please. No, it don't work like that. It don't work like that, and it never has.
Exactly, it don't work like that. We don't even fight no more, and we're seeing. What I'm seeing like DACA, right? For instance, right? Mm-hmm. Like these activists are in these politicians' ass day in, day out, right? Fighting for their issues. The LGBTQ community are in these politicians' ass every day fighting for their issues. And at some point, black folks, we got to look at ourselves, our tribe, and say, why aren't we fighting the same thing? Why aren't we fighting for our issues? Why are we taking on everybody else's plight but our own? Because we'll jump into LGBTQ fight because we got black LGBTQs. So they align themselves with their sexual orientation versus their actual lineage, mm-hmm. right? So they're more in tune to go fight for something because it's social, versus something that is dealing with them as a person in their skin color. I don't get that, you know what I'm saying? So because I'm black first, I don't care about any other that stuff. I am black first. If so you in my mind. When I say black first, I mean everything is black first. So I'm not focusing on DACA. DACA ain't got nothing to do with me.
But brother,
I'm focusing on reparations.
But brother, come on now. Why we gotta focus on us first? We American people.
Hey, because if we don't focus on ourselves first, then we can be American, right? But at what point do we look at ourselves, and we can go back and go into history books, look at Plessy versus Ferguson. We were always thought of as 3/5 of a person. So we have never really been made whole. Citizenship in this country has to mean something. And because I was born here, this is all I know. I am American. But my lineage is descends from slavery. The government got to pay for all the damage they did to our people, because we are the product of all of this. We're the product of every single wrongdoing, and I just can't put myself and put no skin in the game for a plight that has nothing to do with the genocide of my own people. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I can't put no energy in that. So I need my black people who are out here fighting, putting all their energy into everybody else's issues, to look at yourself and say, well, damn, have I ever fought for black folks? Have I ever went out here and fought for the issues that affect black people? And if you can walk out your house every single day, go down the street, see somebody that is black and they homeless, and you feel good because you got a house, then something is wrong with you. Because they shouldn't be in that situation. You have to realize that wealth was stolen. So stuff got extracted from our communities and generated wealth for other people. And now our people are suffering from it. So we got to go out here and fight for them. Fight for the homeless ADOS out here. So they can get a job or a nice place to live. So they're not out here freezing in these cold temperatures here in Columbus, Ohio. Like I said, I have nothing against people fighting for DACA and LGBTQ, but I ain't got no skin in that game because I'm black first.
I love that skin in the game. But I got to ask this question, Brother Mark. You ready for it?
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm fighting for black folks. I got this question
every
single day. I'm fighting for black folks. And whether they want me to fight for them or not, I'm fighting for black folks.
I got this next question for you, Brother Mark.
We got to fight for ourselves because nobody has ever jumped on a pro-black agenda and fought with us. Nobody. When the Panthers were doing their thing, there were no white folks on the board with them. It wasn't until Fred Hampton decided to go down to West Virginia to start dealing with some hillbillies and tell them that the government had been screwing them as well, just like they've been screwing us, that he started to try to build a coalition. It's like nothing different than the blacks in the South who were in the South back during Reconstruction were telling the poor white farmers in the South that the government don't care about you either. So y'all should come on board with us. So that's what we got to do. We got to find white folks that are poor as hell. So tell them, hey, y'all need to fight with ADOS. Because if you take care of black people, we're gonna make sure y'all taken care of.
I got a question for you,
Mark. But you gotta realize that you.
I got a question for you. I don't know if you're ready for this one, man. You ready?
Go ahead.
But I've been taught that we supposed to forgive and forget, Brother Mark. You know what I'm saying? We keep talking about slavery. We go back, man. We need to forgive and we need to forget. Mark, why you so bitter?
You know, I hear that sometimes. I heard that from my mama the other day, actually. And I told her, if we don't know from whence we came, we don't know why we're struggling in the first place. So the history of this country has never been told the way it's supposed to have been told. The history of this country has always been told from the lens of white folks. It's always been told that way. They will have you believing that slavery was not a bad thing, that there were some good slave masters. Look at the movie Harriet Tubman that just came out. The whole premise was the slave master was a good guy. And the black dude, the black bounty hunter was a bad dude.
You mean it wasn't like that, Brother Mark? It wasn't like that for real?
No. You know, I did the slavery tour. Back like 2 years ago, I took a slavery tour down in South Carolina on a plantation. And now that I look at it, I shouldn't even gave these people my damn money because they're making money off the backs of slave labor. But at that point, I wasn't as woke as I am now. So I did the slavery tour. And what I realized was, as I was down there, they made every point to show that slaves had good conditions. Where they didn't look at the chattelness, the chattel part of people being property. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like here's the slave quarters. You see, they had a nice little place to live, and they were able to get married and have religion and all this other stuff. They wanted to talk about all this stuff like this was good stuff. Mm-hmm. But what they didn't want to talk about was that black people were getting bought and sold like property, and were getting beat like property. And we're getting branded like property. You know what I'm saying? They didn't want to deal with any of that stuff. They just wanted to show the nice conditions.
Right.
And I was like, this is inhumane. You know? So I just don't get hey, you know, we should forget. We can't forget because the history has never been told. Like, Beto O'Rourke came out, I think it was last month or the month before last, and said, I don't think that white folks know the true history of this country. That came from a white man, and I agree with him. Yep, y'all don't know. Because if you don't know the true history of the country, then you have a jaded idea that you think that black folks are equal just like you are. We got the same opportunities that you got. We got the same ability to go out here and go to school that you got. We got the same. We can go buy houses like you can. We can start businesses like you can. All you got to do is pull yourself up by your own bootstraps and start complaining about stuff. That stuff is irrelevant because we know as black folks that is not how it is. But to white society, they look at us as being lazy. And what happens is you get a new class of black folks that come over who have no cultural ties to the United States and chattel slavery, who come in and feel the exact same way. So what it does is it convolutes the message because now you got a class of people who are agreeing with white supremacists. Mm-hmm. That ADOS folks don't have we don't have the hustle. Game. We just want to blame everybody else for our woes, and that's it. But, you know, and they don't understand that the institution of white supremacy has forbidden us to actually engage in the true American dream, the life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We don't have that. We don't have that.
We got all the skills.
Without generality, without speaking the generalities, let us be specific in saying we have not been afforded the true economic, the true freedom to pursue, the true freedom to economic pursuit. That's what's been really limited and destroyed in many cases, over and over again.
We got. I'm thinking it's my sister from the well, they got her in the Washington zone. What they call it, the VMD or whatever, Virginia, Maryland, DC. Somebody calling in from DO1.
DMV.
Is this Jackie?
Word.
Go ahead. What's going on, Jackie Smacky? What's going on, girl?
I ain't been around in a while, and I was making it my business to get up and listen to you this morning and just say, Ashe, golly. I just see all this preaching going on, and it's a wonderful thing because there's so many points that you're touching on that I really would like to chime in on, but you guys have been going. So I can't even remember all of them. But the one thing I was going to call you about this week is this revisionist history filmmaking situation that I feel like is getting ready to become a trend.
Oh, that's a trend.
It's a very dangerous trend.
Yes, it is.
You know, with this, one of them specifically, before Harriet came out, was Godfather of Harlem. And in that series, you are aligning Malcolm X with Bumpy Johnson.
Right.
Malcolm X, not only Malcolm X, but Martin Luther King, and something disturbing I saw the last, because I don't like to speak on things that I have not taken the time to review, you know, just because I know it exists, but I have to actually watch it in order to, you know, have an opinion.
Right.
And the thing, what is his name? The politician out of New York.
Big Cat. They used to call him Big Cat. Who was that, Kwame, out of New York around Bumpy Johnson's time?
And Andrew.
No, it's not
Andrew.
Top Cat. They used to call him Top Cat. Light skinned.
Oh shoot.
He was a preacher.
Andrew.
He was the big. He had the biggest church in Harlem. 40,000. What is his name?
Right.
But it'll come.
I can't think of his name.
Top Cat. Just call him Top Cat. That's what they used to call
him. But the thing that they were talking about over the last episode was the March on Washington, and they're assembling for the March on Washington.
Go ahead. That's real life with Johnny. Gina. Go ahead. Keep on going.
They're assembling for the March on Washington. And I guess what they're doing in that episode is trying to get Malcolm X to be a part of the March on Washington.
Right.
But the way they have these back door conversations, and you know, people that are watching this and are readers and don't have a real grasp on history are getting this for the first time. And they're building ideas in their head about our leaders and what actually went down, whereas they don't look at the fine print of any of this revisionist history filmmaking to understand that, you know, that they don't understand that this is Adam Clayton Powell.
That's his name. That's Junior.
Adam Clayton Powell. That's the one.
It's the Junior, though, because his father was big before him, but Adam Clayton Powell Jr. was the one that took the poll put into to Congress and shit. But go ahead.
Right. But what scares me about all of these things, like, you know, what you all were just saying about Harriet and all of these, the one thing that they're trying to pat themselves on the back about is that they're delivering this, our heroes to us, and we should be thankful that we're inspiring our kids in some way through the action figure that Harriet Tubman has become in this movie. Mm-hmm. and that they are putting our history on deck, showing us from a powerful position. But some of these details break down that whole dynamic. You know what I mean? It's not healthy.
Right.
If you are going to allow your kids to check this out, then also take them to the library to get the real story, which I don't feel is going to happen. I think people are getting excited.
Right.
And then, just like, you know, people get excited, just like Black Panther.
Right.
You know, yeah.
And
my thing is, Black Panther was alright, you know, but you have to realize the real hero in Black Panther is the white man. He still is, because the whole movie centers on the epic fight at the end is us infighting as usual, having no progress, and the white man shoots down all of the planes that are delivering the weapons that will kill them. Nobody looked at that part.
I see it, Jackie.
He was the hero at the end of the movie.
He was the hero. He saved them all.
And he did not save us. He saved his own people.
Right. But
if you look at it,
right,
when he shot them things down, they were delivering weapons to our people to be able to assemble and, you know, knock down the power structure. Right. That is the white folks. Ain't nobody paid attention to none of that. I never heard that argument. And I'm looking at this like, okay.
You gotta check you gotta check your own sanity,
and it was
right?
So big, you couldn't have that conversation. What'd you say?
I said it's sort of like you looking at this and you wondering, are you insane because you seeing this? Sometimes sometimes
right, because nobody's
thinking about
having that conversation at all.
But a few people did have that conversation.
And if you do have that conversation,
there you go.
You in trouble, you know, with black folks.
Right. You're always looking at something too deep. You're always trying to make something. You're always been a problem. You was crazy since you was a kid. I mean, stuff like that. So I'm just used to that. But now, even because like the whole revisionist history piece, what we got to understand is that they are reshaping. They are reshaping and
right.
How can I put it? Colonizing our history. The reshaping and colonize our history. Right. I'm gonna give a damn if we are moving the pen. We are allowing them to colonize and to control our historical narrative. And now, when you can control the narrative of people, you control who they become, because some people will not go to the library and get the book. Their lesson on Harriet Tubman, their lessons on Harlem, and Malcolm X and Adam Clayton Powell and Muhammad Ali, all that's going to come from these damn shows, and we're going to have all these experts running around.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Some of them are going to write books, and they're going
to... And then that was another thing that they touched on in that how the Italians were behind, not the Italians, was it a little bit, the Bumpy Johnson was talking to, wait a minute. Oh, everybody had aligned themselves for Muhammad Ali to throw the fight so that he could get the fight with Sonny Liston. But he ended up, he didn't throw the fight, but he they insinuated that all went down too. That it's a possibility that he was going to throw this fight and in order to get the fight with Sonny Liston, whatever. But before I forget, because, now I'm in your club, age-wise.
Welcome.
So I got to say this before I forget it. I have to say that the thing about us organizations prior to parties politically, the organization may be the most fundamental platform that we use in order to align ourselves politically when it comes to the parties and Democrats, Republicans, whatever. But something you said earlier in the conversation, I feel like we have to first revolutionize our organizations. The revolution has to first have us fighting with organizations that don't call themselves colored people.
Right.
We in 2019 and we still have a organization for the advancement of colored people.
Mm-hmm.
So and they have also let that be known that includes the Jewish people.
Mm-hmm.
And those struggles, because I think about all of the organizations that were assembled in Detroit back in the 60s, like that were making it easy for people like Martin Luther King to run the train of his whole his organization, because he loved Detroit. He loved to come to Detroit. He had some of his most passionate speeches. He even built that speech, the I Have a Dream speech there in Detroit. If you look back, if you do some of the most poignant speeches he made was to the UAW and getting with the unions in those plants in Detroit and assembling black folks on that level to have some kind of business. Okay, Bible.
All right. Where do you make the other America speech?
It was during a union speech to the union workers in Detroit. And if I can find that link, there's a link of his speeches. I can link it to you, Hassan, at some point. But I was reading it not that long ago that how easy, like I said, there's organizations that came out of the Shrine of the Black Madonna.
Right.
That used to be our meeting place. That there was the powerful organizations before the Black Panthers got really moving. They had so many black organizations from this black elitist group that grew out of those plant workers in Detroit.
Oh.
Because
they had
some of the first,
Because they had money to finance that stuff too. But go ahead.
Exactly. And that is why they came for Detroit in such a dramatic way. And the Mayor Young, he always made it known that they were coming for us because Detroit had become such a black power center. The most a powerful black center in the north of all places. And we worked that thing from coming from Black Bottom to when they started moving the red line, you know, and also taking in power positions in the plant, becoming the first engineers, and, you know, out of college and stuff, were given a chance at the big three, and they still are, you know. But all of that to say that it is very much a powerful situation that exists in our revising our organizations first. That's where I wanted to applaud you, because I wouldn't even listen to this. I don't care how much a show, whatever, because, you know, I got a thing with people talking. But my brother, Hatem, over 30 years, my brother has always been on this has been from our childhood. I have watched the evolution for myself. We have come together and evolved together. And you've always been on action mode. It wasn't not about this show, the people on here and talking. And people have to know this ain't just talk. My brother gets up and makes sure black folks have a market, you know, get up and teach the kids, and get up and, you know, get out in the community and actually are assembling people behind the ideas that they are hearing on this show. And been doing this for a very significant amount of time, over 25 years. I've seen it. I've been a part of it. I've held his hand during it. So I wanted to also once again give you all of that. You know, God bless you, because this needs to be a national show. Your podcast needs to be, you know, people need to be catching on fire with this. This is the organization right here that begins here, but let them know it's in the street.
Right.
You know, it's not just the show. It ain't no Al Sharpton going on here.
Now I ain't got no perms.
Because the National Action Network only show up, like one of the mothers of one of the slain brothers, you know, he only show up when it's what do they call that?
National publicity.
A photo movement. Photo op. Because some families have been like, you know, we didn't invite them here. You know, what is this about?
But now,
they're not complying at all with Al Sharpton or his message.
Check this out. So, Brother Mark, you still on the line? Brother Mark. Uh-oh. He in the hospital, so when it goes silent.
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm sorry.
Hey,
I'm still here.
Because she brought up going back and getting some of the traditional organizations. Can you tell her about Operation Takeover?
Project Takeover. Yeah. So to my sister, I agree. We got to go back and get our institutions. We have, as ADOS, have started what we consider a Project Takeover, which is to take back our institutions from this disdain and the ability for them not to advocate for us. So that implies that we're going to take back our the institutions like
Gina
schools. We're gonna take back our schools and then get more black teachers to be teaching our young black brothers and sisters.
That is so necessary. Good grief.
Yes. So we're also looking at the black church, right? So ADOS just partnered with the National Baptist Church Alliance, which has 3.5 million people that are part of it. The reason why we partner with the National Baptist Church Alliance is because we know that the civil rights movement started in the black church.
Most of our movement started in the church. I just said most of our movement started in the church.
Yeah, most of them. majority of the civil rights, right? I can't say all, right? Because nothing is absolute. So I say majority of the civil rights movement was because of church folks. And for some reason, black folks in the church have gotten to be judgmental, and they forgot that they're supposed to be welcoming and be fighting for rights. So this partnership with the National Baptist Church Alliance allows us to have access to these people to fight for reparations along with us. That was done by Dr. Kevin Cosby and his partnership with the National Baptist Church Alliance, and they just came on board and endorsed us this week. So we're also looking at the NAACP, the Urban League, and all these other what we consider boule organizations that are in the black community. It's more of an infiltration. It's like we're joining these groups as well, and we're going to shift the ideology and the thoughts of these groups from the inside out. Because if we don't do that, then we allow them to continue to do nothing, and we can't continue to say, well, the NAACP doesn't do nothing, the Urban League doesn't do anything. Well, they're not doing anything because we're not in them. So this is the project takeover part of going into those as well, and so we're going to be going to their meetings, becoming members of their organizations, and basically shifting the ideology of them to fight for black folks. I mean, I'll give you one real quick. This is how powerful advocacy works. The NAACP in Burlington, New Jersey, was getting ready to have a viewing of the Harriet Tubman movie. They had promoted it and was getting ready to do it. Well, a young sister had traveled all the way to Louisville to the ADOS conference, heard about Project Takeover, went to the NAACP meeting. And when she went to that meeting, she broke it down as to why they should not do this. And she tied it to Comcast and the Byron Allen case, but also tied it to the funding that Comcast was given to this media outlet that was basically producing Harriet. Well, the NAACP decided that they canceled their show, the showing of Harriet, because they were in support of the Byron Allen case. That's how powerful this is. Because, so when we infiltrate, and I don't really mean like infiltrate, because I think that's like some extremist stuff you start infiltrating, but it's like the only word I can use right. It's like the only word I can find. It's like the only word I can find to make my point. But when we start to get into these organizations, it's just the mindset. It's really going to help us push our advocacy on the ground. And everything doesn't have to be from ADOS, right? It don't have to be ADOS, us out front doing it. It could be the NAACP doing it, but it's influenced by ADOS. And to give you proper context, I just got a tweet. Somebody sent me a tweet, and they're like, "Hey man, check this out." Well, Fox News, right? Fox News is bringing on more black analysts and moderators to start a new show based on ADOS ideology.
But you said the Fox Network is doing that?
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody be promoting ADOS. Yeah. So everybody trying to get in, right? Everybody trying to get in, right?
Yeah, I saw CNN. It's just all I heard was they were developing a black news show for CNN with all black, newscasters for national, international news. Yeah. Something that BET lost, and they actually had an awesome platform. This was before they sold out to Viacom, but they had a black roundtable on BET, as well as a magazine that I worked for, Emerge magazine. It was our last it was the first and only black news magazine. It was instrumental in getting Kimba Smith out of prison during the Clinton administration. A case that now more and more are being opened up, but, with the help of the Kardashian girl, those type of cases where people are locked up or crazy drug, small incremental drug deals or whatever, got them 25 years, stuff like that.
Right.
And where this girl had been aligned with the major drug dealer, and she ain't even ever sold any drugs, but she was aligned with her. Do you remember that case? Kimber Smith?
Nope.
Nope.
Yeah, but anyway, they are, they working on stuff. I'm really scared though when you say Fox is involved.
I'm scared with both of them, but I'm scared with both of them because you brought up the point of the revisionist history. So now we got it happening on both sides. That's dangerous. So we got to keep on doing what we doing. But go ahead and finish what you're saying, Jack.
No, I was just, making the point that I had heard. Only thing I had heard about when it came to Black news was CNN developing that show that had all Black newscasters that are going to be involved in that. But that Fox affiliation, that's scary. I'm wondering what platforms. But you saying that you all's organization will be, or that they're promoting your ideas from your organization through this show on Fox. Yes,
that's what it basically is. And I don't know who's going to be on it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the so if they try to shape it and form it a different way, I'm pretty sure that Yvette and them are going to because I know what I do know is that Yvette has been traveling to do like stuff incognito. Like she's been offered, like she does a Brick and Brown channel, but she and Antonio have been making their way around the national media outlets. That I don't know if this is something that has, because I know that Antonio is doing his show on the Griot.
Right.
He's doing his show on the Griot now. So I don't know if this is a changing of the guards as far as pushing it out there, but I think for ADOS folks, hold on a second. I think for ADOS, it makes it plain that we cannot be aligned with a party, right? Because now it's the ideology behind ADOS that is pushing reparations and the Black agenda, and I think for us, it's a good thing that the Black agenda is going to be on Fox, because if Black folks think that we're gonna be able to push this agenda without the help of white folks, then I don't know what the hell they be looking at. Because we don't control anything. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't control anything. We only represent 13% of the population.
That's where Byron Allen's channels are so important in this whole fight. He made it past the federal level. It's not likely, and it doesn't look likely that he may win the Supreme Court case, but you're talking billions of dollars on the line, number one. Number two, I'm not familiar with all of his channels, but I think they said he has something like 30 or 33 channels.
Right.
And if there is a way that his channels explore more of the topics that you're talking about from the ADOS and have maybe a news platform or something like that, I'm thinking that's probably not what's going on with his channels. It might be more entertainment and all that kind of thing, because I don't even see those type of channels that he's trying to get Comcast to run. I don't even see that making it past the federal level case. Like they would have shot that down immediately just based on him even having one channel like that. So if he could get this case past the Supreme Court, he can then adopt that type of programming into his network. You know what I mean?
Right.
That would be huge, because this is what they, the Black mythological community talking about, put Bill Cosby behind bars. Not in my thought process. Him buying NBC was not gonna happen.
Twice.
They had every which way to lock that down. But so that's not Jackie, what they were after him for.
Jackie, the major issue is he didn't have enough money to buy NBC at that time.
Exactly. He didn't even come with like a conglomerate.
That's
of
what I'm saying.
Folks. He himself could not afford it by himself.
No, he was going with a group. See, He went with a group, but even with
I didn't know about the group, but I still know the money wasn't there.
It wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers thinking like $2-3 billion. You come on now. We talking about NBC. But anyway, but that goes back to the whole revisionist history piece you talking about, because how long do we have to spend discussing Bill Cosby's in jail, not because of this shit, but people believe that because this is the narrative that's been thrown out to them, and this is the danger of revisionist history. Because you got motherfuckers that look like us, just because they look like us, they always ain't right, and they always don't have the proper information, and we're jumping on this shit without doing our research and say, you know, they put Bill Cosby, they only did this because he, you know what I'm saying? I mean, because in the courtroom, and I'm going to get back to the ADOS, in the courtroom, when they was talking about bail, they said, well, you know, he's a flight risk, Your Honor. You know, he owns a private jet. And they said Bill Cosby on the cross the room.
Yeah.
I don't have no power jet, you motherfucker. See, because the point is, he not rocking. A lot of these black folks are not rocking like we think they are. You know what I'm saying? But hey, but going back, going back to Mr. Stevenson, is there any last words you got for us, brother?
I just want to say thank you for having me. I know I'm kind of down and out, and people probably like this dude is like suicidal or something, because I'm literally in the hospital with an IV in my arm, but I had time.
Oh my goodness!
I had time to get on today and kind of bring some stuff to light. Black folks, just get active, man. Get active. Get on the ground. Get involved. That's all I can say. Get involved. Understand that we have to be better than tearing each other down all the time, and understand that our collective power is what's gonna tear down these walls. So show up to the events going on in your area. Go to your town hall. See what these politicians are trying to do behind your back, and voice your concern. We can no longer sit idle, and we can no longer be reactionary. We got to be proactive in our plight to fight for black folks. So that is it, man. And I'm about to roll over and go to sleep.
Right.
So
they got the meeting at Macedonia Baptist Church tomorrow at what time?
It's at 3 o'clock. 492 Oakwood Avenue. Come out. I don't know if I'm gonna be there or not. Hopefully I'm out of this hospital. But come out and see what we're doing. We're fighting for a black agenda, and we need boots. We need boots on the ground. We need people that can go out and knock on doors and engage black folks, and so we can take back this city. We can take over the city if we collectively work together to take over the city, and not let petty beefs and ideology jade out what we should be fighting for. I mean, and if we can do that, fight for a black agenda, I think we can do good things here in Columbus. So
he also mentioned,
that's all I got.
He also mentioned a town hall at East High School at 6 p.m. on 11/21. They're going to be interviewing or at least allowing the community to see the two finalists for the police chief in Columbus. And please understand that is a critical position in Columbus, because they will dictate the direction of policing going on here. Last but not least, for more information for those that are in Columbus, you go to adoscolumbus.org, adoscolumbus.org. For those that are talking about what's the black agenda or stuff like that, or what's with the reparations, go to ADOS101.com, ADOS101.com. All right, family, listen. I'm about to do this toast, so I ain't gonna. If y'all want to stay on, y'all welcome to stay on. But I'm gonna lift up the glass because we did lift it up, and then me and my kids, we gonna go out and eat. We just got a hot tweet from Yvette. Hold on. Can't you hear the acerbic reprimand from those Pan-Africanists, those leftists whom all but explicitly tell ADOS to shut up and keep to their place? The acquiescence to the task. Oh, it moved too fast. She using some big words. All right, Yvette. All right, but hey, I'm gonna do this toast.
You feel it.
I'm saying, hey, there was some big ass words. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, hey, acquiescing. I'm like, damn. All right, but hey, I'm about to lift up this glass. So, family first, giving honor to the Creator by whatever name you choose to call that Creator. We lift up our glass and we salute that Creator and we say Ashe. Right now, we call on our ancestors because we are in brunch time with our ancestors, and I'm glad that they allowed us to make it through this. And really, because Mark just had texted me before I sent out the thing that he was at the hospital. I told him to take care of himself. But somehow, I went on my Restream.io, and I thought I took that shit off. I didn't take it off. He saw it. He came on anyway. So we want to give Brother Mark a round of applause for coming out and represent.
Yeah.
So here we go, family. We got Miles Brown, Miss Ann, Robert the Tex, why y'all, sometimes y'all cut it short, you know. I got that spiritual crowd here. Miles Brown, Miss Ann, Robert the Tex, Davis, Herman Brown, Senior, Rosalie, Tilly, Georgia, William Walter, Chris Fanny, Gaston, Eileen, Chris, Finn, Cleveland, Geneva Brown, Margaret Ellis, Wash Ellis, Cecil Ellis of our Brown, Gina Gaines, Herman Brown II, Barbara Twiggs, Wash Ellis, Jr., Katie Ellis, Nikki Ellis, Jamon Jones, Jeremiah Tappan, John Fallar, Montague Pimenel, Nomo X, Pet Ma, Rob, Malika Fakour, Dr. Yusuf Weston. Malika Fakour, Dr. Marianne Williams, Kojo Kamal, Elder Farmer, Elder Millie Dixon, Tony Clark, Pastor Yusuf Weston, Elder Ajani, Elder Ron Coleman, Elder Robert Donaldson, Alfred Broford, Hector Jr., Jay Edwards, Carlisle Harris, Grace Lundy, Inez Harris, William Bill Moss, Phyllis Rose, Sterling, Lucy Wright, Degale, Paulina, Luster Brother, Miss Eda Brooks Crawley, Miss Marie Nelson, Mr. Frederick Crawley Sr., Miss Jerry Brunson, Mr. Lawrence Johnson, Miss Marie McDowell, Janice Foster, Charles Jordan, Kel Smith, Walter Smith, Richard Trigg, Francis Johnson, Mary Franklin, Jimmy Williams, Daniel Ford, George Gibson, Nana Loretta Clark, Inez McCrae, Fritz Clark, Frankie Justice, Katie Justice, Derek Wendelman, Virginia Rogers, Rem James Smith, Louis Henderson, Kevin Spratling, Mary Elizabeth Walker, Raymond Walker Sr., Raymond Walker Sr., Sarah Jane Carter, Michael Ford Jr., Kellen D. Russell, Susie B. Smith, Teresa Clay, Melvin Dale Hodge, Jr., Herman Copeland, Mildred Copeland, Jenny Clay, Bird, Beatty, Sarah Weller, Vita Farmer, Agoso, Sue, Cheryl Harvey, Aunt Charmaine, Aunt Evelyn, Theolis Hasbury, Harvey Hasbury Sr., Linda Dickinson, T.C. Islam, Terrell Dunbar, Will Thomas, Sarah Berry, Mark Walsh, Merle B. Thornton, Pearl G. Thornton, Ida Johnson, Flores M. Carter, Joanne Thornton, Erica Tricia Lewis, Juanita Wright, Robert Wright, George Wright, Mary Eliza Frederick Davis, Mary Elizabeth Rogers, Mary Esther Keisha Reese, Linda Watson Hammonds, Gerald Giles Watson, Sparrow Slimmy Southern Lewis, Andrew Holmes, Pearl Moore, Percy Moore Jr., Mildred Owens, Booker T. Bolden, Charlie Hunt, Sammy Stover, Hilda Pearson, Sturgeon Thornton, Richard Thornton, Lavina Hall, Freeman Bankster, Mae Moss, Sophia Peacock, Willie Thornton, Napoleon Kennedy, Mark Ramsey, Paul Ramsey, Matt Ramsey, David Ramsey, Charles E. Thornton, Frankie Quells, Urania Thornton, Bernice Quells, Ernestine Jackson, Frankie Johnson, Teresa Mormon, Leon Johnson, Charles Bell, Vivian Ramsey, S.C. Johnson, Delrita Johnson, Leon Johnson, James W. West Sr., James Parham, Dana Jones, Henry Worlds, James Farmer, Mae Chavez, Leon Grace, Bessie Johnson, Harry Levester, Mae Moreland, Paul Moreland, Elder Caleb, Rosemary Martineau, Elder Amitab Wellman, Fred Douglas Triggs Sr., Delma Triggs, Thomas and Lula Berry, Lacey Ellen Ohio, Frankie Russell and Davis, Fred Douglas Triggs II, Rita Triggs, Reverend A. Moore, Helen Fuller, Eugene Jack Sr., Richard Ellis, Silas Alexander, Charles Maxwell, Percy M. Alexander, Arthur Reynolds, Stanley Lockhart, Ridley Lockhart, William Lockhart, Woodrow Lockhart, Brenda Porter, Deacon Hargrove, Carla Sawyer, Andrew Parker, Doris Donald, Ellis Murphy, D'Amico Russell, Dean Moneri, Gina Roop Jones, Jana Callahan. We have William Walter West, Nigella Parrish, Elder Basiji Fulani, Jim Robinson, Gladys Johnson, Valerie Clark, John and Mary Sullivan, Dirk Johnson, Antonio Johnson, Denise Waters, DeFriedis Hines, Inez Bostic, and the Bostic Winifred Scantleberry, Wilson Haley, Emma Hines, Phyllis Lee, Eugene Spratling, Kevin Spratling, Charles Wooden. Hold on. Charles Wooden, blah, blah, blah. Let's go here. Charles Wooden, Penny Brown, Roy Lee, Print Up Jr., Miriam Johnson, Wilbur Longmire, Ed Catney, Janice Carter, Michael Carter, Leon Pena, Carter, Mark Carter, William Carter, Lisa Jordan, Charles Lee Mosley, Dorothy R. Blair, Ransom Evans Sr., Sam Evans Sr., Nayland Blair Sr., Edward Stevens, Sue Ann Stevens, Joe Davis, Timothy Butler, Gene Holmes, Dana Jones, Peter Charles, Christy Nichols, Cardinal Robinson, Rosemary Charles, Ada Pearl, Bob Ingalls, Jack Wallace, Warren M. Finch, Warren P. Finch, Tim Ingalls, Archie Finch, William Billingsley Jr., Jennifer Sensenbaugh, Hazel Gaston, Jerry Brantley, Brian Watson Jr., Kaniko Parsons, Jason Kathy Bradford, Thomas Bradley, also known as Uncle Buki, also known as Gypsy. Reverend Roosevelt Word, the First State Stripes, Frank Smith, Mother Bertha, Michael Leonard, David Brown, Ruth Carter, June Cox, Paula Cox, Ronald Urban, Judy Hubbard, Irene Johnson, Francis Booth Jefferson, Dan Wilkinson Sr., Emma McClendon, Jerry Doyle, Mina Robinson, Mary Nichols, Patricia Williams, Rebecca Teray, Greg G2 Gibson, Donna Hill, Richard Gleavers, Lee Irby, Tommy Irby, Boy Irby, Jim Gaucher, George and Hallie Johnson, Archie and Margaret Armstead, Diane Scott, Erica Armstrong, Claire Fox, Gene Evans, Archie Beck, Anna McGill, Charles McDaniel, Christine Couture, Aunt Becca, Alice Arnold, Arthur Arnold, Hattie Reed, Charles Reed, Eulin Andrew Baker, Patricia Edwin Brooks, Gwendolyn and Bob Hatch, Kimball Vernon, Bradley Kim, Janie Harry Tubman Kate, Spencer Sturgis, Sally Mae Baker, Ethel Baker, Creola Baker, Geneva Baker, Aaron Nino Baby Hatch, Hatch Sr., Melly Miller, Housie Hatch, Dad Cleveland, Mother Gibson, Alex Nixon, John Bowie, Lester and Rachel Saunders, Dorita Ross, Viola Ross, Robert Nelson, Prince Stevenson, Leroy Stokes, Lily Johnson, Fletcher Swan, Manny and Charlie Scott, Ida Casey, Thomas Cooper, Vivian Stevenson, Mona Ann Lewis, Cornetta Lyman Lewis, John Jackson, William Dallas Lewis, Mary Francis, Chappelle Jackson, Michael Slade, Joanne Perkins, Richard Jackson, Martha Ford Dawson, Big Mama, Nanny Harris, Eva Ford, James Hairston, Margaret Towns, Mary Williams, Leroy Q. Heath Sr., Albert Moore, Miss Vanilla, Albert Motley, Geraldine Elizabeth, Douglas Thompson, Ellerton Houston, Lud Oz, Elijah Oz, Jerome Oz, West Staten, Joe Jamel Oz, and Pierce, Donald Carter, Lily Green, Nathan Green, Beth Vaughn, John Dewey, Ruth Beer, Tim Butler, Remy Laura Newton, J.B. Foggy, Thomas Newton Sr., Barbara Naeem, Jeanette Sanders, Jerry C. Sanders, Roy Pruitt, H.J. Brantley Sr., Henry Wilson, Rufus Jenkins, Minnie Wilson, Catherine Sanders, Mira Ellis, Elizabeth Sanders, Henrietta Irby, Mildred Armstead, Margaret Armstead, Catherine Anthony, Ruby Brown, Charles Walker Sr., Charlie Walker, Cecil Russell, Diane Urban, Haroon Phillips, William Ford, Margaret Logan, Phyllis Barnett, Lee Urban Sr., Michael Urban, Ozella Watson, Hugo Watson, John Caldwell Sr., Robert Lee Caldwell, Nevaeh Mitchell, Ron McCormick Sr., Sabrina Easley, Rashawn Easley, Devea McCormick, Barbara Ann Reed, Dorothy Ann Reed, John Reed, Chekamaha Reed Jr., John Reed Jr., Patricia Reed, Edward R. Benson Sr., Ethel H. McNair, Lois Fernandez, Jacqueline Broaders, Reginald Oliver, Mazarine Cofer, George Swan, and Monty Grayson, Charles Scott, Charles H. Scott, Michael Morgan, Charlene Morgan, Sybil Evers McNabb, Annie Ferguson, William Ferguson, Shelby McClendon. We also have Joella Giles. We have James Carswell. We have Roberta Adams, also lovingly known as Aunt Sis. We have Elder Shaka McNair. We have Anthony Brown. We have Jonathan Ford. We have Lottie Gaucher, Cousin Tony, Michael Johnson, James Jimmy Johnson, Barbara Shane Lewis, Ronald Shelton Jr., Damian Top, Westina Banks, Joseph Bingham, Quincy, Mama, Aunt Lady, Abraham Isaac Cundiff, Aunt Barbara Lewis, Renee Johnson, Joey, Ryan Ross Riggins, Dermonte, Marcus Price, Ness Words, Marshawn McHale, Demetrius Beard, Herb Jefferson, Rob Nickens, Eric Walker, Quincy Sample, Candace Simmons, Severin Clayton, Leonard Jones, Sade Garner, Melvin Scott Sr., Elder Clarence Lumpkin, Elizabeth Johnson, Frank Smith, Stacey Trice, Denise Goray, Nathaniel Hassan Turner, Khaled is in transition, Nigel Turner, Demetrius Lewis Flint, Alberta Woods, Geneva Simmons, Daniel Tilley, Angeline Gantz, Sharifa, Oscar Kane, Audrey Gripper, Dominique Nichols, Ruthie Lane Johnson, Teresa Sambu, Aunt Maxine, Uncle James, Henry Margaret III, Tamara Dowdy, Nicole Harris, Julia Taylor, Richard Bozeman II, Ruth Carter, John Carter, Mr. Thornton, Joanna, Cassandra Lynette Lewis, Henderson Mosley, Charles Jordan, Henry Essex II, Fannie L. Webb, Dan Walton, Alauti Sue Walton, Emma Walton, James Randolph Giles, Sonny, Pete Walton, William Walton, Fred Powers, Elijah Wan, Hakeem Nkomo, Alberta T. Davis, Charles Davis, Willie R. Mackey, Dr. Karimi Mackey, Victor Bolden, Drusilla Kitty Berger, Lucy White, Robert Lee White, Emma Jean White, Talton, Roger White, R.L. White, Jesse White, Ruby Jewel White, Johnson Carl White, Desi Woods, Tilar Woods, Lennox, Jim Woods, Lizzie Woods, Juanita Alexander Brown, Cynthia Ann Wright, Richard Dorsey, Annie Simpson, Jamara Simpson, Regina Hopkins, Joseph Simpson, Nettie Dorsey, Eleanor Hopkins, Edward Webster, Alice Webster, Ivy Webster, Arnella Willis, Ethel Lane, Samanda Damon, Ethel Marshall. We got Steve Dougie Shelton, William Bill Walker, Carl Rico Johnson, and Kim Gray. Once again, we have successfully made it through our list of our ancestors, and we raise our glass, and we salute each and every last one of them, and they help unite us as a tribe, family, and they remind us of the power that we have. And they also have gifted us these moments that we have. So we lift up our glass and we say, Ashe. From there, family, where do we go? We move to the present. Oh, thank you. We move to the present moment. And in this present moment, today we are on Kuumba. I want to give all the Kuumba babies a round of applause. So, shouts out to Brother Kwame, because Kwame is a Kuumba baby. We also shouts out to all the Almas. We got an Alma over there in Ghana right now. She might be watching, so I send her some peace and some love. What's up, Vicky? You over there chilling. All right, but here we go. We raise up our glass to this present moment, family, and we remember this present moment. Right now, we are on what we call the day of Kuumba. This is the day of creativity. Family, activate your reticular formation. It is our responsibility to look and seek out our principles every day. They're out there. Trust me. All we got to do is take time to search for them. Look for your principles every day. Kuumba is out there. And it's bigger than rap. It's bigger than football. It's bigger than basketball. It's bigger than some of those moves. Look at some of the creative stuff that your own children are doing that you might overlook. Look at some of the creative stuff that your neighbors are doing or some of your friends or some of your cousins. Find the creativity and start learning how to seek this stuff out, because once you start finding it, it becomes easier to find it. And it's a lot harder for us to start falling out because we're seeing our principles all around us all the time. Those that don't speak the language, Kuumba means creativity. Order is the demonic principle. Orange is the color I got on my Orange Daily Toaster shirt, just so that y'all know. But I got the black cat in up over it. We have cause and effect, which is the Hermetic law. Male name Kwame, female name Alma. We raise the glass in this moment. We make this moment sacred because these moments were gifted to us. And now it's our responsibility to gift them to the future, so we take them seriously. We're going to use each one of them up in the proper way. And we say, Ashe, from there, family, we move to the future generations. And what's going on in the future generations? First off, we got some of them that's walking around right now, like my daughter up in there huffing and puffing right now because I got her young ass washing dishes. But that's what you got to do, right? Huffing, she started crying. But listen, we toast our children. You know what I'm saying? Because they can be challenging, but they still need our love. They still need us to love them through it, right? We raise our glass to our children, our children's children, on to infinity, family. Because if we handle our business, what we are doing, when we handle our business, we are carving out their time and their space so that they can build their monuments to greatness. When we're not handling our business, we're burning up the inheritance that was passed on to us from our ancestors. Come on, family. That's a big responsibility. So we toast our children, our children's children onto infinity. We say Ashe. From there, family, we move to all of our relations. We raise up our glass and we say Ashe. From all of our relations, this that selfish toast. What do you need right now in this moment to move towards your greatness? Come on now. Ashe. From there, family, last but not least, I toast the most magnificent. Ashe. The most magnificent, the most spectacular, the most uplifting, the most inspiring, the strongest, and the wisest individual in the room. And you know who that be? That be you. And right now, since Jackie on the line with me, that's you, Jackie. We toasting you, and we say Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Family. Ashe. Also, I want to raise up the glass and salute to all those that joined us. Shouts out to Brother Mark. May our ancestors be with him to help him with his medical condition that he's going through right now. We also want to send out shouts to Brother Kwame. I also want to send out shouts to some of the other people that was on the line that didn't say nothing. Family, don't be scared. Type in something. Call in. I'm not going to bite your head off. You know what I'm saying? Call in. Join us. Let's build up. But I want to send shouts out to, because I saw my daughter Jessie on the line. Jesse was on the line. Let's see who else I need to send some shots out to real quick. We had, of course, Jackie. Jackie was on the line. Aaron Thomas, shouts out to you. We had Charles Stevenson. And, we got Elder Margarita on the line. We also want to salute. Let's see who else. All right. I thought I saw him. Well, no. Oh, Shorty, I saw you on there, too. Shouts out to Shorty. So, hey, family, I'm out. Me and my kids about to go eat. I got to go to the barber. You gotta go to the bar. We got a bunch of stuff popping off. But yo, I want to say, I pray that the rest of your day will be as beautiful as you are. I will see you tomorrow for the Toast and Talk. And I'm gonna sip on this tea. I forgot to tell y'all, this tea I pulled out was from a batch of tea that I'm putting together for this ambrosia. I'm about to go get the honey because Amazon just returned some money to me that they falsely took. I didn't order the shit they sent me, but they still charged me. So I got the money to go get this honey. Oh shit, this is gonna be.
All right, boss.
All right, baby. You take it easy. So peace out, family.